So we have a lot of clients that come to us, and they come to us after they've hired someone else.
Yep.
And they need to actually hire us to help dig them out of trouble.
Yes.
It feels like we're getting more and more of those that I'm seeing.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Back when we started, it was I would say probably 80% of our clients didn't have someone previously. But I think people are looking to cut, to see who's cheaper. And it's no shock we're not the cheapest. We're an actual law firm, so we charge a little bit more than a lot of the tax resolution companies
And because
charge.
we're awesome.
And I would say that too. Yeah.
So, we find that our competition is making a lot of promises to these people. Yes, we'll definitely get you into a payment plan. It will be this much a month. Yes, we'll definitely do an offer in compromise for $5,400. And we know that you can't ever make promises about what the IRS is going to approve.
Right. And I would just say they're really not our competition. Nobody quite is. And this is for our domestic resolution when we're trying to settle back tax problems, not necessarily a lot of these places, because you've called them and you've told them that you had an offshore problem and it went right over their heads. They were like, they did not know a thing about what you were saying.
No.
That's just an interesting story.
Yes.
You did a great job planting, showing that these places really don't know a lot. They don't know that there's worldwide tax jurisdiction, and they don't know about FBARs, your foreign recounts. So, wow, here's the thing: when you're going later on, if you're ever audited or something like that, the IRS is going, well, you hired someone to help you with this. Why didn't you know? Well, I hired incompetent people. Yeah. Well, incompetence is the new defense.
Yeah, that made me lots of promises.
Yeah.
So again, we know the IRS doesn't always follow a certain path.
Yeah. So how do you promise something? Even assuming you have 100%, you're the best in the world, and you know exactly where things fit in, and you're great at structuring things. Let's assume you're the best in the world. Okay, whoever that might be. You still don't make promises. I don't make promises. And this is one, this was Ethel. This was back, when my dad and I, who were the only attorneys. And she lived in state. She lived up in Manchester, and she had to go to Hartford for her doctor because she had cancer. And we're trying to settle. She didn't make all that much money in the world. And it really came down to, the settlement for her came down to, was the IRS going to allow her expenses or not? Her biggest expense that was sort of, hey, what the heck is this? Is she had to spend about $500, $600 a month on a taxi because she couldn't drive anymore because of her chemo. Taxi to pick her up in Manchester to bring her to Hartford. It's only about 10, 12 miles.
But they didn't have Uber back then.
Yeah, right. I know that. Right. I could kind of see that argument. But she would have done it. She didn't really, she wasn't trying to get anyone over. I'm like, this was the only way she could really get her cancer medication. So somebody's coming in with like that. So your first instinct to say, oh, absolutely, we can get an offer and compromise for you, no problem at all. But I didn't. I said, I don't know what the IRS is going to do, but, we'll fight till, we get the best resolution in place.
Yep.
We submit an offer and compromise for her, and I'm just like, in my head, I was like, this is an easy case. This is going to be easy. This is going to go so quick. We submitted an offer and compromise, and I couldn't believe it. They're like, no, we're not going to allow your expense to go to the doctor. They allowed her cancer medication. Like, you can pay for the cancer medication, but you can't pay for the transportation to get the cancer medication.
But isn't like cable TV a reasonable expense?
Right, that's an allowable one.
That's allowable.
Cable TV, so, watching your Jerry Springer, right, that's a necessary living expense, but getting your cancer medication isn't. And so they rejected it. And there's like, no, she has an ability to pay, full pay the whole liability. She owed about $40, $49. And she really didn't. And it was ridiculous. I just couldn't believe it. I was just, one of those decisions, you're like, I'm stunned. That's all I was thinking about at night. I'm like, how? Who? Wait, who's the person who decided that? And are they sleeping at night? And I'm like, yeah, they are. They forgot about it. It's just, you're a number to them. But, we're not done. We weren't done with that. So.
And, we've got the appeals.
Yeah,
and generally, we like working with appeals.
Yeah. Yep.
But this time...
Well, this time, I couldn't believe it because the appeals was giving me a hard time, too.
What were they saying?
Just like, it's not really necessary. I'm like, how can you be... I don't understand why. And I'm like, did someone like pull a fast one on you before involving... I don't get this. This doesn't make any sense. And the appeals usually go pretty smoothly, and we know exactly, how to go, and our appeals go really well. And this one was giving me a little static. So I had to use some advanced negotiating techniques. And I would just say this: it's dangerous to sort of tell people what it is, but it's not what you think it is. I would just say advanced, like really effective negotiations is not. I'm going to take names. I'm going to go to court if you don't do this for you.
Yeah,
that's a great way to lose. There's an effective way to negotiate, and so I used one of my ways. And then the appeals officer says, "Oh, okay, I see why you're saying this is a good deal for the IRS." Yeah, it's a good deal for the IRS. I said, "Yes, it is," and then they accepted it. But I'm just thinking about it. Here was a slam dunk case. Come on, the easiest offer and compromise in the world. Should have been the easiest compromise in the world. No questions asked. The lady has cancer and she needs to get her. You can't put the IRS in front of someone's health. You can't do that. That's not right. Nobody wants that. No one thinks she's getting away with anything. She has cancer. But unbelievably,
had to fight and fight.
To fight and fight for and it wasn't even a crazy amount. Come on, all right. Well, you're allowed $400 a month to own a vehicle. And you're allowed $150 or $200 for public transportation. She doesn't have any of those other expenses. So basically it's adding up to those, but you're not going to allow it because what? Because someone else is driving her? Well, that's like a chauffeur. You can't afford your own chauffeur. That's not allowed. So just really, really strange stuff. And that's why, when anyone is promising you a particular result, because this was a close call. And, she did go to a very good law firm who knows how to get this through, because I'm thinking a lot of places wouldn't have been able to get it through.
Yep.
A lot of places wouldn't have. And so how could I promise something to somebody? And maybe she could have got on tax court, but if you're going to tax court, you're already kind of lost.
And now Ethel is cancer-free and tax debt-free.
Oh, yeah. She's driving again.
Awesome.
So she's able to drive, so now she doesn't have to worry about it. But the IRS is gone. So we got her offer through, and, it was $2,000. And it was like 45, something like that. It was,
that she owed.
Yep. And that was great. But that's why, and as you said, when you're telling people, they're giving you, they don't even know what you owe. And they're telling you, we'll get an offer and compromise accepted for $5,400.
An
actual number.
Yep.
Are you nuts? I mean, there's no way. It's like, first of all, you don't know. I don't care what your facts are. There's no guarantee. And by the way, the IRS is allowed to do that, because I remember another case right around the same time. A gentleman was a mortgage broker, dead broke, owed $100,000. By the numbers, he was not at all. His offer was exactly right. Mm-hmm. And the appeals office, I had to go to appeals on this one. She goes, no. I go, really? She goes, I don't like this guy. I said, really? It's like, well, I've looked, it's like I looked at saw his lawsuits. He's done some fraudulent things in the past. I'm like, okay, well, what are we going to do? And so she said, well, here, so we came up with a proposal. We put him in a collection hold for a year. She goes, okay, if the guy's not in a better position, then, I'll look at an offer then, but I'm not doing it now, because that's really the thing. So even if you are by the numbers, that's what the thing on the IRS pre-qualifier, here, submit an offer and compromise. Well, you have no idea really. And so that's something that, you learn. It's like, okay, what are your facts? And there's clients where I was like, I'm not going to file an offer and compromise. If you're a CPA who doesn't make estimated payments and pays late, they're probably not going to do it, because they're like, wait, no, you're supposed to be doing this right. What's your excuse for not doing it right? They will just not take it on public policy.
Wow. So
you got to think about it. And then, I saw some great comments online about the offer and compromise, because it is a great way to fish for information. You have to submit all your financial information. So some people kind of bring up a good point. If your offer doesn't stand a chance, all you're doing is giving the roadmap. Here's how to collect everything from us. Mm-hmm. So you really want to,
make sure.
Right. And you can't lie on that form. Otherwise, people have gone to jail for lying on those forms. So that's why you really just don't want to slap it together. You really want to get, I think you're crazy not to get a legal team working on this who gets them through, because there's so much in play.
And just be careful of promises.
Promises, right.
If you have any tax problems you want assistance with, don't hesitate to contact us. info@irsmedic.com. Get more information about us at irsmedic.com. You can also subscribe and like to our channel for awesome tax updates. Subscribe, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. IRS Medic, the law offices of Parent LLP. Real tax attorneys for tough tax problems.